not alone. And all of your donations that we have raised during this event will be going directly towards supporting NAMI. We have raised over 17,000 so far, and we have the rest of the week to raise even more to help support the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Thank you all very much for your generous donations. We have a $20 donation from Venkelos. Yay, NAMI! Let's go mental health! We also have a $5 donation from Phalix that just says, hello. Hello. We have an anonymous $25 donation. No comment, but thank you very much. And a $5 donation from T-Curbs that says, well done, folks. Earthbound for life. So while we're in the middle of our break between runs, I would like to check in on the bid incentives. We have closed the bid war for the 5 character names, so it looks like the first character name, we will be picking 5 of these actually, is Xmedlu. I think that's how it's pronounced. Someone will probably correct me if that's wrong, and it probably is. In second place, we have Derek. In third place, we have Derek. In fourth place, we have Derek. And in 5th place, we have Derek. So those will be our character names. But we still have 2 bid incentives open for our next run, Pool of Radiance. We have our bonus New Game Plus run. We are just under halfway to go for that run. We have raised $215 so far, but that is a $500 incentive. So we have over $285 to go for that one. So make sure you get your donations in for that, because that Pool of Radiance run is only an hour, and you only have until the end of that run to meet this incentive. In addition, we have our small broken city glitch. I've said that wrong multiple times this evening. Small broken city glitch. That is a $250 incentive. We have raised $135. We are over halfway to that incentive, but just like that bonus run, we only have until the end of that Pool of Radiance run, and that run is only an hour estimate. And now we are going to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to RPG... Welcome back to RPG Limit Break 2022, coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah, and of course virtually. We are raising money for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which was formed in 1979 as a grassroots advocacy organization by a group of parents whose children suffered with serious mental illnesses, and NAMI has maintained that focus to this day. We are getting set up for our very next run, that is going to be Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Pool of Radiance. But while we're getting set up for that, I would like to mention another donation incentive we actually have coming up. And that is for the Shadow of Eusebius, which is coming up after Pool of Radiance. We actually have an incentive to name all 4 of the players. And right now, that is a wide open field. We don't have any player names suggested just yet, so if you would like to see any player name in there, you can send in your donation and suggest a player name along with that. But one note about naming those players is that they have both a character name and an epithet. So you have your character name of 12 characters in the name, and you have your epithet. It could be something like Eusebius the Brave, or Demon Chocobo the Jerkbird. Any name, any epithet that are of course appropriate for our event are recommended, but make sure you include both of those with your donation if you would like to see anything added to our Shadow of Eusebius player name incentive. We have a $20 donation from Silius Buns. Thank you very much for that donation. We also have a $20 incentive, we have a $20 donation, I've read so many incentives, a $20 donation from Xudmud. Just bribing Yojimbo to help make sure the VI doesn't gain too much sentience. The number of absurd things and edge cases that have happened make me concerned. Putting this to naming the Golden Sun characters as their original Japanese names. Isaac as Robin, Garrett as Geralt, Ivan as Ivan, and Mia as Mary. We have a $20 donation from Steven. No comment on that, but thank you very much, Steven. We also have an anonymous $25 donation. MSKain, I appreciate your masochism for playing the DOS version of Pool of Radiance. Those keyboard commands. Ugh. Keep it up and let's donate for the bonus run. We also have a $1 donation from Sphintus. Now, I would like to send out all of the thanks to the people involved in our foreign language restreams. We actually have 2 foreign language restreams for RPG Limit Break 2022. Our French restream can be found at twitch.tv/thefrenchrestream, and our Japanese stream at twitch.tv/Japanese_restream. If those restreams can help you enjoy the marathon, go check them out and send them some love. RPG Limit Break is proud once again to partner with the Yeti to bring you 8 amazing t-shirts and a hoodie now available, plus pins. Head over to theyeti.com/RPGLimitBreak, take a look at the designs, pick up the ones you want, and know that $4 from every t-shirt purchased will be donated to NAMI. Remember, Yeti is spelled Y-E-T-E-E. And the website is theyeti.com/RPGLB. I would also like to show some love for our community artists, Carrie Fry, who designed the RPG Limit Break logo, and Mega Weasel and It's Casa, who are responsible for some of the emotes that you gain access to by subscribing to the channel. All revenue from subs and the ads we run will go to help us run future RPG Limit Break marathons, but fret not, 100% of all the donations go straight to Nami. And after a few tech issues, I've heard that we are all ready to go. So, take it away, MSKain, with Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Pool of Radiance 100%.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm MSKain, speedrunning AD&D's Pool of Radiance. With my commentator, I have my sister.
Hello, I'm MK Bunny.
And so we're bringing you this very old school run. This might be the oldest run in the marathon. Technically, Ultima 4 is older, but the NES port is not. 1988. A couple of things. First of all, this game is so old that it doesn't have any music at all in it. It has some few very primitive sound bites, which we have disabled for the speed run because they don't add anything, and all they do is actually make the game longer. It has a sound effect for when your characters in moving 3D take a step, and it goes like this, step, 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 and it limits your movement to that speed. And when you see how fast I'm running around without it, there is no way to speed run this. It would add like 20 minutes to the run just by having simple sound. So there's some background music that I've asked them to go ahead and keep playing for you because most people are used to listening to music with the games, but has nothing to do with the game itself. This is a soundless run. Yay for old MS-DOS games. Now about our characters, I want to do real quick. I can't explain everything about them, what we do. I could spend 20 minutes on that, but as you can see, our characters have these amazing stats of all 18s. If you're familiar with AD&D, you know these are perfect stats and shouldn't normally be possible. But unlike other games, say Baldur's Gate, which have you randomly roll stats and then you can lower some to raise others, drop 3 from intelligence to raise dex by 3, this game lets you modify your stats after rolling to whatever you want. And when I was playing D&D as a kid, I very much remember having all 18s for my game, for my characters. But in all seriousness, because we can set them to anything, especially in first edition and second edition AD&D rules, having stats that are not maximum or very close to it is pointless anyway. You don't get any benefit whatsoever. And just having max stats makes the run go faster. The game allows us to do it. This is a speed run. We're trying to beat it as fast as possible. It's not a challenge run, so we max our stats. We are half-elf fighter magic users because in first edition, this gives us the opportunity to wear plate armor, wield swords and shields, and be able to cast spells at the same time, something that gets nerfed in later editions of AD&D. The one downside is that our experience is halved, but since we're doing 100% all quests, we're going to get plenty of experience to reach the levels we need to by the end of the game. On that note, this is a 100% all major quests category, so the game does have a number of areas in the city and dungeons outside that have a quest associated with it that we turn in to the city council, and some of them have multiple ways of doing it, and they have a bunch of extra treasure spots and extra encounters. We won't be doing all those. We're just doing the bare minimum in each sector to qualify for the city council saying, okay, you've taken care of that, we're satisfied. So I think that's pretty much everything. Thank you for the donations for these wonderful names. We have 3 very close names, which is appropriate since these are nearly identical characters anyway, as well as being led by Xmed Lu. We'll also have a 5th character, Baggage character, who will be showing up for some segments later on. And one thing we haven't maxed is our hit points. Our hit points are very specially crafted because of a dynamic difficulty setting in the game with random encounters. We will deal with that later. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but that's enough preamble from me. We're going to get ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so first of all, we're greeted by Rolf and toured with the city with this 30-second unskippable cutscene. Rolf is actually famed mimic Gogo in disguise, making his first video game appearance. We have an opportunity to duel later on in the game. We never do during the speedrun, but you can casually. And you duel Rolf, but Rolf is a perfect copy of whatever character you have. Their class, their hit points, their equipment, their stats, everything. So he's actually famed mimic Gogo in disguise, but we never see him again. So first thing we need to do is set game speed to 0. That is actually much faster than 1, believe it or not. Now we got to buy some basic equipment. We buy some tridents and banded mail because they're some of the best equipment we can get, and they're pretty nicely located. We don't buy armor for our fourth character because of a morale feature in the game. We want to make enemies surrender to us, and by having one character who is faster than the enemies, when their morale breaks, they will surrender, instantly removing themselves from combat instead of just running away, which is slow. We're going to memorize our spells here. Sleep spell, we don't start with the famous magic missile, the most notorious level 1 spell. Instead, we get sleep, which is actually super duper broken and much, much better than magic missile for this game. And we're just going to take care of some things here. So first in the slums, we have to deal with a new number of random encounters. So these fights are fine. Normally later on, I'll probably be reloading for random encounters, but we have to take a bunch in the slums anyway. In order to clear the slums, we have to complete a large number of random encounters. It's the only time in the game, so getting them all this early is not very bad at all. As well as clearing a number of set encounters, but we're actually going to cheese this a little. We're only going to take 2 set encounters, and we're going to go ahead and show off the sleep spell here. Sleep cannot be resisted in first edition, which is incredibly broken. And it puts, in this game, it puts enemies in a helpless state so that they are insta-killed the minute we attack them. Even if they have 99 hit points and we attack them with a dart that does a maximum damage of 3. It doesn't matter, it's an instant kill, so it makes the game much easier when we can use it. The one drawback to sleep is that it doesn't affect enemies above a certain level or number of hit dice. But there are a surprising amount of even relatively tough enemies that are vulnerable to it, as we are going to see in the future here. We don't have any thieves or clerics in the party, you may notice, because they're pretty much useless. Clerics take way too long to actually heal. We actually heal faster by resting for days at a time. And thieves are also totally useless. They're a lot weaker than they are in later editions of D&D. They have almost no armor, almost no weapons or good things they can do. Backstab is it, and it is a pretty pitiful thing overall. But, and any traps and such that they'd be useful for, or locked doors, we can just bash through with our strength or use magic to get around, or just tank the damage. So this is our last encounter we're taking. We're taking a few encounters to again, the only thing we need to do random encounters for is to fulfill the condition of the slums. They give almost no appreciable experience, but we found a few treasure piles that give us some good experience. That's where we get most of our experience in the game. However, when we get our maximum experience, we don't automatically level up. We have to go to town and spend money, 1,000 gold pieces, to gain a level. So that's where all our money is going to go. So one of the first things we're doing in the game is gathering up the money and stuff of what we need to do. Now, these random encounters are in groups of 4, and MK Bunny really wants to describe to you why we have 6 hit points now for these encounters.
So we have 6 hit points because, especially in the slums, the power and difficulty is scaled to that of the party, like you see in more modern games. But it's based on something very complicated called Thaco that I'm not going to explain. But so that is why we keep them at 6 hit points. And it's also why our bottom Derek does not have armor on and is at a 6, because that helps him to create weaker groups of monsters during this time period, which makes them easier to defeat.
Yep. If we had one, I could actually put shields on my characters to go with the tridents, but that would lower our armor class and would give us 2 more enemies to fight in each encounter. In addition, if we had 1 more hit point on any of our characters, that would be enough to change the difficulty. So we go with 6 hit points to start with, just so that we can have 4 characters for all of these 20+ encounters. Last thing I want to say about it is that we're using a cheese technique. There are only supposed to be 15 encounters in the slums, but it doesn't want to make the slums safe to rest in until you've cleared out all the enemies. And so they will continue giving random encounters, but the game is kind of poorly programmed there. And once it figures out you fought like 23 battles, that's the 15 random plus the 8 set encounters, the normal groups of enemies you would fight that are fixed. And it says, oh, you fought all the encounters in the slums, and considers it cleared. So we're tricking the game into thinking more random encounters are fixed encounters. And with that, we're just going to grind for about another 3 minutes or so. So this is a good time for our host to give any blurbs, shout-outs, donations, whatever he's got to do.
All right. We have $25 from Nemo2342. Glad to see RPG Limit Break back in action. Thank you to all the staff, runners, and viewers who make this such an amazing event. I would just like to do a really quick check-in on our 2 incentives that we have for the end of this run. We are just over the halfway point for that bonus new game percent run, $260 raised, and for that small broken city glitch, we are also just over halfway with $135 raised.
All right. So one of the SSI who created this game did some interesting things with the combat rules. They, as you may have noticed, back in original AD&D, the minute you, first and second edition, when you hit 0 hit points, your character is dead, period. You have to go raise them. SSI thought that was too harsh, so they actually added a unconsciousness rule that at 0 hit points, you go unconscious. -1 to 9, you're unconscious and dying. But if you survive the combat before you tick down to dead, you'll be fine and just unconscious. And if you get to -10, you'll actually die. Okay. I might just rest a bit to avoid encounters here. A lot of random encounters that are just fastest. Now that we're done with them in the slums, we got into random encounters after sleeping for days, so we know that we've cleared out the slums. So now we're actually going to be moving on to the end game area. And I'm going to pass the time here. 0 hours is not midnight, but actually dawn, and 14 is sunset. If we're being avoided by gnolls, we can run away from them, although it says they flee. We come through here. Now we're about to enter one of the end game areas. This game is extremely open-ended, which will show up as something cool in the New Game Plus run if that gets met. I again encourage everyone, please donate to New Game Plus especially. I'd love to show off both incentives, but New Game Plus is my preference. We encounter this merchant, we kill him and take his wagon. We can also buy it, but that's slow. We bribe these bugbears to sneak in, and now we're in the final area of the entire game. We come in here and talk to these washerwomen, be nice to them. They disguise us as Tyranthraxis troops, and now we won't get any random encounters here in the end area of the game. We can use this to grab some really overpowered equipment and such that is available to us at the moment. Really overpowered equipment, get a lot of experience and such, including one of the 2 most broken items in the game, the Necklace of Missiles. This would normally be a pretty tough fight, but again, for some reason, even the boss is vulnerable to sleep. So we can easily kill this 5th level cleric before he kills us with Hold Person, which would do pretty much the same thing our sleep does, and voila, 1, and he's dead. Now we get to take his +1 plate mail, +1 mace, and Necklace of Missiles, which the Necklace of Missiles will be coming in major use for most of the game going forward. As long as you know the password, you can enter the maze area here. We're going to come meet a magician now who is 8th level, so he's immune to sleep. But we can use another exploit to force him to keep attacking us. Oh, wow, he one-shot us. That's pretty bad. But that's extremely rare. Wow. So Derek is going to lose out on a bunch of experience, which is kind of bad. We will see how that affects him in the future. He's got 1879. He'll still get enough to level, but he might be a little bit behind. But we can rest for days to heal up. Because like in many games, characters who are unconscious in the fight do not get experience for it. And he gives a lot of experience, mostly just because of the power of his magic items. Now that we've done this, we are going to sneak away. We pass through the gate, and the bugbears are like, hey, you're not actually merchants. But we can just run away from them easily, escape the city, come over here to take a boat back to the main port, and voila. Suddenly we are back in town. Now, you money change automatically if you spend money in some way. So by identifying those bracers, for instance, I've changed all of our low cash into higher level cash. Let's see that. Sell to the short bows. Okay, pool share. That'll be enough for us to level for a little bit. Now we're going to go report our success for the slums to the council clerk, and that is 1 quest done. And now we have to go to what is next? So-called keep.
Are we doing the duplication glitch?
Yes, we're doing duplication first. and training first as well. No spell other than sleep that first level will really be used. Oh, Derek is not able to become a level 2 magic user. That is going to be a bit of a problem. Well, it'll work itself out eventually. It'll just be a slight problem early on, but not that big. Okay, now we're doing the duplication. I have to concentrate while doing this. This is how we involve our baggage character, and MK Bunny is happening while this goes on.
Okay, so the duplication glitch has basically 3 steps. Step 1 is you save the game. Step 2, you add the baggage character to the party. Transfer the items we want to duplicate to him, and then remove him from the party. Then you drop all of the characters from your party to end the game, and then you load your saved game. Add the baggage character back, and then transfer his stuff to the character we got it from, and it is now duplicated. Then remove him from the party, repeat as many times as you need to get as many things as you want to. We're doing this right now with the necklace of missiles because it is one of the most powerful items in the game. So the key to this working is that saving and loading games only affects the active characters in the party. It does not affect the characters in the pool. So when we remove Derek from the party, it means that he keeps his stuff and the rest of the party keeps, when we go back to the old save, the rest of the party has the old stuff.
Yep. And so with that, we've turned our 1 necklace of missiles into 16. Necklace of missiles are incredibly powerful because they allow you to throw very random damage fireballs. Let's see, we use a password, and these undead will leave us alone here once you've said it once. You have to learn this via your code wheel anti-piracy maneuver, but once you know it, you can just use it. So this is what it allows us to do. We use it, throw a fireball. It hits a 3-square radius area for major damage. Save will half the damage, but it's usually more than enough to kill it. So 2 fireballs will actually be enough to cause all of these enemies to morale break as soon as their next turn starts. Oh, we didn't kill some of those hobgoblins. Won't matter. It was a very low roll and they saved. But now we just wait until the next turn, and then they'll all surrender because we are faster than they are, or we have 1 character who's faster than they are, and their morale breaks. So now you can see them just vanishing. And voila. That is the big battle of So-Called Keep. Now we come to this ghost who we've been told to get rid of. He's been haunting ships and preventing them from going out. So we tell him what's going on. We give him a password Lux, which once again is an anti-piracy code you have to learn from a code wheel that was provided. Or, clue books and stuff nowadays. Let's see. You get shield, you get mace, you get longsword, and you get chainmail. 1 magic item for everybody in here is rather convenient based on my routing. This is a +2 mace, +1 longsword. So now everybody has at least a +1 weapon. 2 of our characters have +2 weapons, and 1 of us has a +3. So that's very, very good. Now we have to give a different password to the undead for some reason. Samosud. Whoops. We don't want to fight them, so we have to give the right password. And then we're done with the keep. All right, with the keep, now this is a necessary side quest in order for us to be able to visit, let's see, 4, so it's not going to affect very much. So he'll catch up in magic level. So now we get the reward for it. Now we have to go to visit this guy who's an evil scumbag, but he gives us a quest to get his family treasure, which we're going to get for him nicely simply because it's slightly faster. We can get him level 2 mage. So now we have to go to the Temple District. This is where you would duel Rolf the Go-Go Mimic if you wanted to, is in that room. You can also hire NPCs, which we used to do in some routes, and then we would betray them, kill them, and take their stuff, but that's slow now. The game is super duper fast. Any percent in this, because of the open-endedness of it, is now 10 minutes long for the world record. The world record for 100% is 40 minutes. I try to get it done under an hour. My PB is 45. But now we're going to pick up the second most powerful item in the game, or it's actually more powerful. It's the second of the 2. and it's a defensive powerhouse, while this is, of course, an offensive one that allows us to instantly delete many groups of enemies or chunk down their hit points. Moved around badly there. Not used to this keyboard. Okay. So this is the one fight we have to do in the northern district in order to continue the wealthy district in order to consider it clear. And now we just have the temple. If we get a certain random encounter before that, we can skip this battle at the entrance. We didn't get it, so we have to fight it. Not a big deal. Just 8 more orcs. Ooh, really bad fireball there. 4 orcs actually survived. 1 because he was out of range. You just have to be able to know and calculate in your head real fast what the range of a fireball is. As a hint, it will, if it's centered in the screen, it will hit everything but the 3 corner squares in all 4 corners. So now we come in here to get the loot, which should be right here. And wand is for actually another set. All I need is the dust. So the dust of disappearance is a horribly broken item. But now as we try to leave the temple, we'll be attacked by Mace and his men. And now we're just going to fireball them all to death. So why don't we throw it over to the host for a little bit while I busy fireball these guys down.
That sounds like fun. We have $50 from Grumpy Tiger. I remember watching my father play the old advanced D&D games developed by Strategic Simulations being my first encounter with video games, and started my journey into RPGs. It's great to see one of these classic games appear as a run. We have another $1 donation from Sphintus, as well as a $25 donation from Kurt Mack. No comments on those donations, but we still appreciate them. Thank you very much. And checking in on that bonus New Game Plus run, we have raised over $285 for that incentive, but we still have quite a ways to go on that. So make sure you get your donations in before the end of this run if you would like to see that bonus New Game Plus run.
All right. So we killed the high priest of the temple. We cleared it out. So now the tier can go and do that. Now we have to deal with this mansion full of thieves, which is super annoying. We got an unlucky backstab, 2 unlucky backstabs. That is extremely bad luck. And we got hit by a trap. This is not being a very good run. And I came from the wrong side, too. But that's okay. One of the last times we'll use the sleep spell on these low-level thieves here. All right, I am going to take a safety save because that's a lot of unusual damage there. Now we chase these thieves down, and we fight this battle right here, and that should be the end of the thieves. Although since we were successfully backstabbed twice, we might have a couple more encounters. But I think that generally, as long as you do those 2 encounters, they're all gone. So most of these thieves are pretty low level, but some of them are actually 6th level thieves, and they're tanky enough to take a couple of fireballs. And as we finish up the mansion, this is all we have to do and leave, and this area is done. So anything else that you want to say, dear host? This is another good opportunity for more plugs or other things. Very unfortunate.
Oh, let's see. One thing I would like to say is that RPG Limit Break is grateful to LLK, a longtime contributor to GDQ Marathons and the designer of our promo banners, attendee badges, and emotes. Check out her work at jazzaboo.com, and that is JAZAABOO.com.
All right. So now we're going to go home and continue the duplication glitch onto these Dusts of Disappearance. First, we have to wait until sunset because there is the day-night cycle, as you probably have realized, affects a few things, including whether most shops are even open. So, in order to, let's see, how are we looking? Jewelry sale, jewelry sale. That might be enough money for us for the rest of the game. Let's see. 800? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'll need a little bit more later on. Nope. If you get lucky, just a couple of pieces of jewelry will set you for life. That might be it, though. We'll see. No, I need a little bit more still. I'll get some from some of these reward turn-ins, so we'll probably be fine. So now, because we completed 3 quests, we have to sit through 3 of these rewards, although they tell us that the temple, what we found in there was the reward. No, actually, this is, yeah, because I got stabbed by those thieves and didn't kill them, the Kobold Mansion, they just told me, is not cleared, so we're going to have to go back into there. So this is a, this is a that's never happened before moment. You've always got to have one at a marathon. So now I have to wander around until I find some thieves to kill. Probably by sleeping, actually, would be the best. Wait. Okay, this is the northern part. I'm not used to coming in this way. Okay, we were stabbed, but... yes, okay. All right, so I don't know how much time this is going to add because it's extremely unusual to get stabbed by both thieves and not be able to catch them. All right, let's rest and find out. Okay, now we're clear because they're not attacking us. So now the Kobold Mansion is going to be clear. So let's rest for many days in order to... I love how resting for days is faster than any other method of healing in the game. That's just a kind of old game in a nutshell. All right, so now we are going to go back to town. We are going to turn in our last quest, and then we're going to duplicate the Dust of Disappearance. And the Dust of Disappearance is super amazing because it gives us improved invisibility, as they would call it in later editions of AD&D. Normally in D&D, because the game designers realized that it was very broken to be invisible, they gave you the opportunity, they made it so that when you were attacked while invisible or used an offensive spell, your invisibility would go away. But improved invisibility doesn't. It's the powerful invisibility. Dust of Disappearance does that to the entire party, and it lasts forever, for hours upon hours. And invisibility in this game is incredibly broken. Okay, you can become a third level fighter finally. Good. Everybody else can't yet. That's fine. Okay. So you're going to see just what it does later on, but it prevents the enemies from pretty much doing anything to us. It's really broken. If you saw at the last RPG Limit Break 3.5 years ago, when I ran the Curse of the Azure Bonds, it was the same thing. We got Dust of Disappearance early and abused it throughout the run. So now it's going to be a repeat of that. Will help us against casters and such. So while I do this further duplication, which I can't do right because I'm too busy thinking about my commentary, I'm just going to keep doing this so we can have some more from the host while I finish that up.
All right. Well, we keep raising more for that bonus New Game Plus run. We are at $290 as of when I last refreshed the tracker. So we are definitely on our way there. We have a $5 donation from Omega Falf. Can we start a $5 donation train? I'd sure like to start one. Let's see if we can get that bonus New Game Plus incentive going with a $5 donation train. We also have a $50 donation from Sin Volspirit. No comment on that one, but thank you very much. And then we have $100 from Caravalanche. It's late at night, but my boys be running Eserbius. Good luck, crew, and don't forget to light shroud.
All right. Okay, so that's done. Where are we going next, MK?
It says the graveyard.
Graveyard, that's right. The only notes I really use in this game are my splits. And now I've lost myself and where I'm supposed to be. Here we are, docks. So I use my splits to tell me where I'm supposed to go next, but of course I don't have them because this is here. So, but luckily, MK Bunny agreed to sit on the couch with me to be my note taker. Oh, wrong person. I wanted him to use it. It doesn't matter. So now we have Dust of Disappearance. The graveyard is very dangerous. Lots of random encounters that you can't do much with. And it also has dynamic difficulty, so it's better to do early. It's actually one of the last places you want to do because it's one of the most dangerous. It's very, very tough, especially the end enemies of lots of spirits and a vampire who's very powerful. But since we have Dust of Disappearance and an infinite amount of them, essentially, we're very, very safe. So we want to get this out of the way early because there are multiple random encounters we have to deal with here. And it's very hard to avoid, so since we can just fireball them, we're not going to reload for these encounters. We do it early, too, because, again, dynamic difficulty, if we were to come at a later level, a lot of these encounters, oh, there's one still alive. We would encounter even more enemies and have to use more fireballs on them. 2 random encounters is pretty average for this. Hopefully that'll be the last of them. No. Oh, we managed to sneak up. Good. We can flee. Sneak up. We can flee. Golly, we're getting a lot of round encounters. This is not random, though. This is a set one. Whites are dangerous because they can level drain, which pretty much in first edition AD&D, every status ailment is dreadful. If you get poisoned, it's actually instant death. You just die. If you get level drained, you lose levels, and it's almost impossible to bring back, especially at this low level in the game. Goodness. I should not have advanced, actually. Okay, I messed up there. I was supposed to go up into the tower first. Because I didn't, I'm getting random encounters. Ghouls, whites, lots of zombies. At least zombies go down fast. But it's not the end of the world yet. Okay, a few more fireballs. So we're going to come in here, and we need to get rid of this specter up in the tower in order to prevent more of these undead from appearing. So that's why we're supposed to do that, but since I forgot, I get a random encounter, get punished instantly for my transgression. A lot of people would be better speedrunners, probably, if there were more games that did that instantly, although I think they're decent enough. Okay, back into the tower. Up here to... Specters are also dangerous, but since there's only one and we surprise him always, he doesn't expect anyone to come into his tower. We all get to go first, so we should be able to have enough fireballs on him to finish him off before he gets a chance to attack us. Enemies can only attack us if they are in melee. They will not move forward to attack us either, even if one of their allies could theoretically tell them where we are. So that's one of the ways it's broken. They can't target us with anything ranged, including any spells or spell-like abilities, with only a couple of exceptions. Basically, gaze attacks, like from a basilisk or Medusa, over the various games, will pass through Dust of Disappearance, but that is the only thing. Otherwise, as long as I don't get close to them and don't hit myself with fireballs, I'm pretty much invincible. So that's why this is such an absolutely broken item. It might be the most, technically for what it does in the game it's in, most broken item in any RPG ever.
And how long does it last?
Hours. Like, we've used one at the beginning of this. We've run around, fought multiple battles. At one point, I sleep for 14 hours, and it's still going when we wake up. It's just absurd. It doesn't work outdoors because each step is 12 hours, and that it decides is enough, or you take 2 steps, and we don't have enough, and we don't want to multiply enough to use one every 2 steps or whatever. But anywhere that's indoors, it's basically one use for the entire dungeon. And there's the vampire dead. Now, normally when you kill a vampire in D&D, they turn into a fog mist form and go to their coffin, and you have to stake them in their coffin. They didn't really know how to program that into this old-fashioned game, so they basically make us kill the guy twice. He has a lot less hit points the second time, so it's generally pretty easy. Boom, he's dead. So now that's the graveyard cleared. And this dangerous thing of enemies, all the previous areas we could have gone in the graveyard are now inactive. We can't even loot the treasure that they may have been guarding. So if you want to loot lots of treasure in the graveyard, you need to make sure to explore the entire thing first. But again, this is an all quests run, not an all treasure, all encounters run. And yeah, that's going to be enough. All right, so now we turn in the graveyard. We get a double reward because we also get a mini reward for basically a mini quest of doing the one of the towers, which basically is just more safety to avoid more of those really bad encounters. All right, now we're going to learn knock spells. We only really need 2, but just for safety and because it helps the menuing a little bit more, I'm going to learn them all so I don't end up forgetting, because I need 2 knock spells coming forward for the next section. And so even though he's 2,000 hit points, actually, because of the way that I did this, I got over experience. So you may notice that we all have 18,000 now. So if you gain more experience, another wonderful thing this game does, because of good old-fashioned first edition AD&D, if you gain more experience to go up more than one level, it doesn't let you. Instead, it sets you at the maximum amount for that level before the next one. So basically, I'm one experience away from leveling again, which is annoying, but whatever. Because we've cleared the slums is our own personal hotel now, basically, in whatever. We can sleep here as long as we want, so we're going to memorize our spells. And, oh, I didn't memorize any knocks. Well, he can memorize 2 knocks. All right. So now, next is well, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We just need to loot it.
Yep. It's not really necessary, but I always loot it just as a basically a split for myself. It's kind of a weird, silly thing that loses a few seconds, but it's just what I do. Oh, we need to make sure to use a dust because we have rested for a while. And now we have to fight 2 kobolds that come out from here. They're in a bad place to fireball, but we cleave them into pieces because of a special ruling that SSI does called sweep attacks. On very weak enemies like kobolds, goblins, and humans with no class, your fighters can attack a number of adjacent enemies equal to their level. So we're 4th level fighters, so we could attack up to 4 kobolds at once in those groups. They shoot some arrows at us. They usually don't hit and do damage. They did last time. Now, this is our quest here. If this is the great bandit, somebody or other, I can't remember his name. We are still on auto quick combat. We need to stop that so we can fireball them all to death. Because that is always the fastest way to get through most of these fights, as long as we have room. We didn't do it in the previous fight because they were super weak kobolds, and because just the positioning meant that we would have been fireballing into... no, actually, this might not even hit him. Nope, it doesn't. He's in a bad position, and I'm in a bad position from my movement. Actually... There we go. Sleep spell, yay. Hooray for on-the-fly strats. That made that a little bit easier. And so now he has a big pile of loot here. We're going to take it, except we're actually not, but also gives us a little bit of experience. Now we climb up, and that's the well done. So now we're going from the well into the library. The library has a special quest. Whoa, surprised by Lizard Man. I haven't saved in a bit, so I'll have to kill them. Little random encounters aren't super duper bad, but if you get too many of them, we may run out of necklaces of missile charges, and that will make some parts of the end game slower if we have to do those fights, but it's not a huge deal. All right, now the library this door is magical, wizard locked, so the only way really to get in is knock or with an outrageous strength and getting really lucky. Here is one of the 2 library encounters. It is a neutral battle. You can surprise it. Unfortunately, we didn't, so he does have a chance to gaze and turn us to stone. Hopefully, he won't before we fireball him to death. And done. Okay. Now, this is one of the things we need to do here. Also, I want to remember to take this cloak, because this cloak is a pretty amazing item, too. Cloak of Displacement gives me a base +2 armor class. It's also super duper complicated, but I don't know what all is in here. Now we have to spend time looking for books. I think that's an important one. Yeah. I need to pay attention to the ones that say that they're journal entries. Those are the important books. There are a couple of books that aren't important. I'm pretty sure that, Lex Geographica is one of them. There are 3 in history and 2 in philosophy, but there are a lot of unimportant ones in philosophy. There, we got lucky. 2 of the first 3. Now, unfortunately, we spent so much time that our dust is gone, so we need to reuse it. And we are encountering a specter who surprises us, so he is... didn't hit us, good. He will level drain if he hits us, and we have to reset, basically, because it's much faster to reset than it is to try and undo the level drain. It's such a huge pain and detriment to the run, to the characters. So a few more fireballs to finish him off, hopefully not too many. We've had poor damage luck on our fireball rolls, so from the Necklace of Missiles. So we very well could run out if we get unlucky in encounters in the wilderness and I don't save properly. All right, so, that's the library, but now we need to do the textile house, which is Cadorna's textile house is where we get Cadorna's family treasure. This is, even though it looks like sky, this is a blue painted ceiling. It's night out. Very weird. So we go through this secret door, and here's the group of enemies. And all we have to do is fireball them all down as usual. So let's go ahead and have some more various stuff from our host.
All right, we have raised $295 for that bonus New Game Plus run. We are getting ever closer to that $500 incentive, but we really do not have that much time in the run left to go. So you absolutely want to get your donations in now if you would like to see that bonus New Game Plus run. And it looks like we do have a $5 donation train going for that run. We have $5 from Lisa Rock saying hopping on that $5 train, $5 from Kelladorn saying choo choo, and $5 from Rumelis saying I passed my save versus donate, putting us in for the bonus New Game Plus run.
All right. Yes, that is a awesome run. It's going to be 5 minutes. It's a very, very fast speed run, and it's glitchless. We're not doing any weird glitches with that. I could do it even without any Dust of Disappearance if I wanted, probably. My characters are so overpowered. It's just super fast, so you'll want to see that. So we bring in the treasure. It gets taken by Cadorna. Oh, we can't go in yet, though, because it's still night, so we have to wait. Just holding L to look wastes 10 minutes. Normally it searches the area. So now we're going to get our library reward, and this takes a while because it has to do it for each of the books we brought in. And then for the other things. Okay, and that is all of the encounters. So let's see. Now we definitely have fighter levels to go, and yeah, we're very fine on money now. But we don't have enough experience to do magic user levels, which is fine. That'll be after this one. Okay, next is the pyramid.
Yes.
All right, off to the pyramid. So the pyramid has a mad wizard who's using experiments to mutate lizardmen into his armies, and he wants to do it with Sahagin too. That doesn't really matter. But his machines are polluting the river. So we need to save the river by destroying his machinery and killing him. Or maybe just killing him. Okay, Displacer Beasts we're not fighting. Wilderness encounters are bad because I don't have Dust of Disappearance. I could use one in battle, but since it's only for the one battle, it generally isn't worth it. And they're still really slow because you start out far from the enemy, and our necklace of missiles don't work as well. They actually calculated surprise, so we can flee that. Oh, geez. Come on, encounters. The Gary Gygax and the other D&D creators in the original rules, they actually calculated a little bit of physics into things and calculated that an explosion is much more potent indoors. So Fireball has a bigger radius indoors than it does outdoors. So you get less enemies when you use the Necklace of Missiles outdoors or Fireball spell outdoors. Now we're in a magic teleporter maze, which is super easy. We turn right here, and that's it. Now we throw a rock and move on. Now we throw a rock and move on once we get to the end of this long passage, which has no breaks anywhere. And then we throw a rock and move on. Because the teleporters change areas, so throwing the rock sets it. So now I'm going to pause real here to show something really funny off. I need to save it beforehand. So you've all played with that dungeon master, right, who's like really cruel and is all rocks fall, everyone dies. Everyone knows the D&D meme, right? Well, so put that in the back of your mind for a second. So these old games, these DOS games, had anti-piracy features. And this game had a really awesome one in this code wheel that had Elven runes and Dwarven runes on it. And so you had to match up these in order to find letters and translate words. You might have seen it during one of the load screens when it lingered on it. It's a password thing, which has been disabled, luckily, in the GOG and Steam versions of these games that you can buy and download, so you don't have to worry about it. But you can still use it to translate certain passwords and stuff. So it was an anti-piracy measure as well as a kind of riddle thing to make sure you had the game. But as we approach this door, we have these Dwarvish Runes here. Don't forget the password. And so let's say we translate this incorrectly. What do we want to say the password is? MK Bunny, give me a password.
Nami.
Nami! Do you really mean Nami? Yes. Suddenly a hidden door bursts open and a horrible monster bursts forth shouting, yay, 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 yay. It wades into you, tearing you apart with 3-inch long claws. The entire party is killed. So the game just said to me, rocks fall, everyone dies. You didn't know the password. There's no way to fight this thing. It only exists in this text if you fail the password. So wonderful little side thing there. So the correct translation is knock knock. And if you say knock knock, nothing happens too. It's super anti-dramatic. Now we come into here, and here's the fountain chamber, and here's all this machinery. So obviously we move away quickly and don't destroy it because we're heroes. Now we find some lizard man, and we're actually going to do something heroic here and release them from their bonds. And so this gives us a password to go through another test, another quest easily. Use our Dust of Disappearance and confront the big bad mage. Keep in mind, wow, we failed to bash. Okay, there we go. But we're leaving his equipment alone. We're just going to kill the mage.
This is my favorite oversight of the game.
It's a pretty good one. A couple of fireballs usually wipe out him and his mutants, then we're done. There's a lot of treasure you can get here and stuff, and a big maze you can get lost in. We're not doing any of that. We're just taking the teleporter and getting out now. And we leave, and voila, now the river is fixed, all the pollution is gone, and we've solved the quest even though we didn't destroy the equipment. So yeah, the flag for completing it is just killing the wizard. You don't have to destroy the equipment, and it's actually dangerous to do so. So here is the Nomad Camp. It's a little faster if I go in during morning, so we'll wait until morning again. And we parley with them, and they'll take us as guests. Then we have banquet, and then they let us rest. And now the council wants us to prevent the nomads from joining Tyranthraxis. And the nomads are being attacked by kobolds. And we meet them, they say, hey, we don't care about Flan, but can you help us with the kobolds? And we say, well, no, because all we need to do is that. So normally your choices are to just kill all the nomads, and that completes the quest, or you help the nomads fight the kobolds, or you take the third option and just leave, and you know that they're not going to bother it, so we complete the quest anyway, these poor people. So this lizard man place has a anti-magic thing, so I can't use my necklace of missiles, I can't use Dust of Disappearance or any other item, so I just need a really tough character, which is why I've given everything to Zemedlu in order to have him be my tank, because this is a one-on-one battle between our character and the lizard man champion. And splat, he's dead. That can actually be a tough fight if it goes unlucky, but getting a -6 armor class is good. And with that, the lizardmen are like, okay, we're not going to join Tyranthraxis. This quest is done. Very simple. Your other option, of course, is to not free these lizardmen in in which case, in the pyramid, in which case you have to fight and kill them all, which is a much longer process. So not only is it the good option, but it's the fast option for once to do the lizardmen. So to just help the lizardmen out rather than just trying to wipe them out. So we just did a kind of not very heroic way of completing a quest with the more heroic way. So, it all balances out, right? Okay, I think this is the kobold group that's required. I really hope so. I need to get him off of quick combat. That's not going to be a huge help. Again, we really hate wilderness encounters, but they should be surrendering in a few turns anyway. So let's just, there we go. The last couple surrendered, and now we can go into the Kobold Cave. No, we don't want to leave. Let's use our dust. So first thing we have to do is deal with this wyvern that uses this large cave. Wyvern can have the poisonous tail sting, which once again, if it hits us, is a one-shot. If you're poisoned, you instantly die. You don't just take damage over time or anything. You are dead, and you are poison dead. So you have to have neutralized poison and raise dead cast on you. It's just absurd. First edition AD&D, man. You think that there are hard games out now. Dark Souls is nothing compared to first edition AD&D. Again, we are just lucky that SSI decided that our characters were not dead at 0 HP. So now we wake up this drunk kobold, and he takes us into the lair of the king, into the throne hall. We get attacked by a bunch of stuff, and naturally, there's only one solution for this. Fireballs, and lots of them. So while we're throwing out more fireballs, Musical Daredevil, I'll give you the floor for probably about 5-ish minutes.
5-ish minutes. Well, hopefully that 5-ish minutes can help us raise the, $185 we need to get that bonus New Game Plus run. We are now at $315 and not much time to raise that last bit to get that bonus New Game Plus run. So please, if you want to see that, get your donations in now and make sure you remember to add in that bonus New Game Plus incentive to your donation on that page. We have a $20 anonymous donation. No comment, but thank you very much, because it looks like that went towards that incentive. I would also like to mention we have that naming incentive for the next run, the Shadow of Eusebius. We do have 4 names into that. Thank you all very much for your donations. But again, make sure you get them in for that bonus New Game Plus run. And as a reminder, all of your donations will be going to support the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI. RPG Limit Break 2022 proudly supports the National Alliance on Mental Illness. To get involved in the fight against mental illness and the stigmas it can bring, reach out to NAMI via their state organizations or on Facebook, where they can be found as NAMI, or on Instagram and Twitter as @NAMICommunicate. It's not a weakness to need help. Please reach out if you think you need help. 1 in 5 Americans live with a mental health condition. We at RPG Limit Break are proud to be raising money for NAMI, a charity who works tirelessly towards cracking the code of mental illness through various means such as education, leadership, and increasing the availability of care. Please join RPG Limit Break in supporting such a worthy cause.
Okay, finishing up the last of these 3 battles. Then we have one more battle, and we need to go get the king, and the Kobold Cave is dealt with. Now, in a way, we are helping the nomads because these kobolds are the ones who are fighting them. In fact, the chief's daughter is a prisoner here, and she's a rebellious princess warrior woman. So if you free her, she can join the party while you're in the cave and help a bit. It's slow to do that, so we don't. But there's also no quest for actually rescuing her, and she leaves as soon as you are done. When you try to leave, she leaves the party and all that. So there's no bring her back to her father or anything. But if you're a little concerned about the nomads on the meta side, don't worry. All in all, we are helping them, just doing it in a more roundabout way. Now we come through here for a better position for this fight, and once again, mostly relying just on fireballs. We're starting to run out on some of our characters, which again is a little concerning, but we are at the home stretch here. We only have one more group of quests after this, and we go straight to the end game, the final boss. So let's see. I just got to wipe out this group. Yeah, that was a good one. Awesome. That was a great fireball. That killed all the warthogs there. Now I just got to get rid of the trolls. Trolls are an extremely interesting thing in the way they're programmed. They're actually very well programmed because trolls, if you don't kill them with fire, will get up. And the game actually remembers where they go down. And if you don't finish the fight soon enough or kill them with fire, or have somebody occupying that square where they would stand up, they will get back up again at full HP and you have to fight them again. Despite being an old DOS game, there are a lot of brilliant little things in here. So we find that the king fell into his own spiked pit trap and died. Very unlucky here. But we'll just quick combat these ones down rather than worry about... we cleave through them very quickly with sweep attacks. There are more than I thought there'd be. Oh, those ones are faster, so they're actually running away. This is kind of rough. Will our people track them down, or will I have to take control? Nope, we're... Oh, necklace, okay. Interestingly, the gold box games got stupider. The AI, when you use quick combat and from monsters, is programmed not to harm their own people. But that changes in... My word, what bad luck. That changes in Curse of the Azure Bonds and later. If you give Necklace of Missiles to your characters and have them go to quick combat, they will toss fireballs at the one enemy right in front of them that will then hit the entire party. It's extremely frustrating. So, let's see. Okay, I am slightly lost. And now we're boiling up out of nowhere. These extra fights are throwing off my rhythm of where I'm supposed to go. I almost never get encounters in this chamber. Of course, it has to happen in the marathon run that suddenly I'm getting all sorts of kobold encounters while in this area.
That's why they call it marathon luck.
That is indeed why they call it marathon luck. Okay, now I know where I'm at. This is a set encounter. This one we always get, whatever. It's a trap that we're taken through the first time by waking up the drunk kobold who guides us into the room. Unfortunately, we get hit by this trap and a spike trap afterwards on our way out, but we can't do much about it. It's still faster than trying to go through the main entrance in larger groups of set kobolds. But it's quickly taken care of. We took a little bit of damage there, whatever. Okay, finally we can leave. Now we want to save the game because wilderness encounters can be bad. Surprised by a group of giant lizards. That's why we save. No. We do not want to waste more time with that.
Oh, yay.
Yay, what?
420.
420? Nice. Surprise a group of trolls allows us to flee. If you surprise enemies, it allows you to flee. Interestingly, if you do, it says the monsters flee, which is pretty hilarious. We are actually using our superpowers to make them run away instead. 2, 3. Okay, good enough. No, then you must leave. That's fine. I didn't want to anyway. All right. Now we get our rewards for everything, which is a huge amount of experience. All right, now Senior Councilman Cadorna has a diplomatic envoy for us to take to the evil Zentil people, which is going to forge an alliance between him and them, and not the city of Flan, as Flan thinks, because he's an evil traitor, and he's also going to sacrifice us as collateral for that, and as basically marking the deal. So even though we helped him, he betrays us, he's a scumbag. And then when we come back, we immediately find out that his treachery has been revealed, and he's going to be hunted. We'll never see him again. You can let him out of his cell and stuff, do various things. You can learn the password to that we already know to Rhodia from him. And let's see. It looks like, we do not have enough money, but we don't have enough experience either, so we're actually fine. Yep. No. Okay. Yeah, that's usual. Sometimes if I route my experience right, I can reach level 6 for the end game, but as a fighter, but it's not it doesn't really matter either way. Okay, time to prep our last few spells. Fireball is mostly just a safety net for some of the last fights if we run out of necklace charges. Haste is a super powerful spell that will benefit us in the last couple of fights, and Stinking Cloud will finally see a use in the penultimate battle against Tyranthraxis' guards and see us in good stead there. So now we take the boat to the west again. The first thing we have to do is... okay, actually, I forgot to sleep, I think. I did all the memorizing, but unless you rest afterwards, it does no good. That's the other thing that happens during marathons, of course, is marathon forgetfulness. I also need to rest for days to heal up, because this is the final stretch. Resting for days. Musical Daredevil, you can do another thing while I'm heading to the next area real quick. A quick plug or donation.
Well, while you're in the final stretch for that boss fight, we are in the final stretch for that New Game Plus run. We have only $80 to go. We are so close. I know we can do this.
All right. So now we're going to visit some buccaneers. These buccaneers have captured the son of a prominent family, and they want him back. So we're going to go rescue him. So we use our dust here. They take us to the merchant area rather than attacking us right off, which is convenient. We come over here to the animal pen, release the animals to cause confusion. Then we break into the slave pen and rescue this poor little kid, who's probably 3 to 5 years old. Now we cleave their guards into pieces. As you can see, we're sweeping through them too. Unfortunately, they'll run away when their morale breaks, which is kind of bad, but whatever. They're cleaned up really fast. And again, usually you only get like one of these encounters per. Of course, marathon luck is forcing them down my throat. I think this machine is not yet used to the RNG it's supposed to have. So let's hope we only have a couple more quests after this, a couple more fights where we really need our fireballs. But let's hope we don't run out. All right. And now, unfortunately, okay, now we can quick combat again. These wimpy ones, they're going to run away. We'll have to chase them down. Hopefully our AI is smart enough to do that. Those ones got away. Okay, he's figured out where they are. He'll kill them. All right, all dead. Please let us get out. No! How many of the tougher ones are there? A couple of third-level fighters. Okay, I'm going to use one fireball and then go back to quick combat. That should be enough. Luckily, because of Dust of Disappearance, again, they just sit there saying, we can't see them, so they can't do anything. What are we at now? 56 minutes? This may end up going over estimate because of the bad luck and stuff, but not by too long. It actually starts going really fast once we get to the end. Depends on if Zentil Keep is as bad as this.
Can I make a quick announcement?
Say what, like an S?
We have met the
Zentil Keep?
incentive for the bonus New Game Plus run.
When I say it fast, I probably make it sound like an S, but it should be Zentil Keep.
Oh no.
Yeah, now we got so many, we even got the big battle with the boss, which normally doesn't happen. I wonder if it would almost just be faster at this point to load a save game. When did I last save?
I don't know.
Oh, I hit one of my own guys, too. That's unusual. I'm getting so overstressed at this now. He's still got lots of HP. He's fine. The good news is, I think this should definitely be the very last battle in here. I can't possibly think that they'll have anyone else after the guard. A similar thing can happen as we escape Zentil Keep. We can get a lot of encounters, and if we get enough, we'll fight their commandant as well. It's been a long time. I've never fought the Buccaneer Chief, actually, but I have fought the Zentil Captain a couple of times. I really hope we don't get him, too. We'll see if I curse it. Okay, and yeah, he's out of Necklace of Missiles. So that's going to make things interesting going forward. Well, why did you go that way? Sometimes the AI, man.
Wow.
I wish I knew if I'd saved in the Buccaneer Camp, then I'd just reload, but I'm not sure if I did. I save quite often, just out of habit, but because of that, it means since it's such habit-based, I don't always know where I've saved.
I know you saved before you got the kid, but that was quite a bit ago, wasn't it?
Well, it's been several fights, but it shouldn't have been any at all. If we lost a character, I'm going to throw caution to the wind and try it.
You want me to make some noise?
Go
I
ahead.
got some noise here for you.
All right. Yeah, before we even went in here. Okay. Buccaneer base.
Okay.
All right. So we have to do all this again.
It might still be faster.
It probably will be as long as we don't get any encounters. That fight was going very wrong. The first encounter is always super easy, and you usually get one, but... Okay, let's keep doing this until the RNG fixes itself. Until then, Musical Daredevil, I think you've got some time while I'm trying to deal with this situation and this horrible RNG.
Well, I've got an announcement to make. We have met the bonus New Game Plus run incentive.
Woohoo!
All right.
Now, we are closing in on the other incentive we have for this run, the Small Broken City glitch. I said it in the right order that time. We have $95 left to go, and considering how much we just raised for the bonus New Game Plus run, I think we can do this.
All right. Okay, one more. This is it. This is the last one we'll get, so much better. I can blow up most of those guys with a fireball. So, all right, we'll get to show off the New Game Plus. I'm super excited for that. That will be a really short run. Oh, I got myself again. Hopefully he saves. He does. Good. Okay. All right. And last couple of guys here, and now we can finally get out of the Buccaneer base.
Hooray.
All right. Now, the weird thing is we're in a slightly odd position. Surprise group of boars. That allows us to flee. Okay, good. The map was slightly messed up, but we got in here fine. So now they lead us around. Now we are going to rest for 13 hours. And then we're going to use our dust. And then we're going to rest for an hour 5, and they take us and escort us in. We talk about magic and mention the Pool of Radiance just to get dinner by fast, and then we sleep with a watch because they burst in the room in the middle of the night to kill us. Yeah, against this group, actually, quick combat's probably fine. Especially since we're still invisible. Second group bursts in. This we want to use a fireball on. Have we passed over yet? Yes, we have.
we have.
Too bad.
RNG, man.
Yep, RNG. This was one of the most RNG horrible runs I've seen. And my last practice run I did had kind of bad RNG, and it was only 50 minutes, so I thought we were super safe. All right, save the game, and if we get more than like one encounter, I'm reloading. Oh, all the way to here with no encounters? Awesome. Yes, out without any encounters. That's pretty rare. Finally, RNG giveth, RNG taketh away. Group of wild boars. Nope. Okay, let's get back into the city, and then we don't have to worry about random encounters anymore.
And then we'll go to the plaza.
Yes.
All right.
Need to remember to go into the plaza. Surprised by a group of quicklings. Nope, quicklings. That's unfortunate. Usually, interestingly, when I was a kid, you can parlay with monsters and try various ways to convince them to not fight you. And usually I tried to be a nice guy as a kid. Most monsters don't appreciate nice people. They think you're weak, and so they attack. And so by actually being abusive most of the time, you can convince most enemies to leave you alone. That time it backfired. That's pretty rare. Come on, beyond the right window. And no more encounters, please. Okay. Nope, south is not the right one. North is the right one. Poldal Plaza. Now we disguise the party as monsters so that we can go attend this auction, find out what's being there. So we are abusive to them, and they leave us alone. Here's the auction. We think that it might be a dangerous magic item, and the boss might get it, but as it turns out, it's pretty useless, but it is the quest for this area. Now remember, we've still got this kid we rescued from the Buccaneers, too. Keep that in mind, just to make this more interesting. Even though in the game's technical terms, he's just basically a flag that says the quest is complete, just imagine the fact that we rescued this 3-year-old kid from these Buccaneers, and we've been carting him around to go see Zentil Keep, which we attended dinner invisible, by the way. Did I forget to mention? Actually, speaking of which, I need to use another dust here first. And then we brought along this 3-year-old kid with us, and now we brought him here. We disguised him as a monster as well, I guess. And now we're carrying him with us to go fight the final boss, because we are not returning home until we've killed the final boss. So I just love the image of us carting this poor kid around. This kid is going to see things, man. We're still going to get rewarded for saving him, so thankfully he's invincible. All right, yeah, and that's why I got some fireball spells, because he is all out. At this point, it's just quick combat for him. All right. Now we have 2 more fights here, and then the final 2 battles, and we're done. You can quick combat because you don't have anything left. No. There we go. That's the fireball spot I want.
So while he's finishing up, I just wanted to make a note and thank the AD&D community that has kind of bolstered and done stuff with this run and supported my brother in this game and his other runs. And especially David TKI. He's been a good supporter of my brother, and I think he did commentary when you did Curse of the Azure Bonds. Is that right?
He didn't, but he has helped out a bunch with that.
Okay. But yeah, I just wanted to do that shout out, and we're so grateful to have RPG Limit Break back, and excited for it to continue going into the future. So.
Okay, so we're getting more random encounters. Luckily, we can avoid them by telling them, being abusive and telling them that we work for Tyranthraxis and they leave us alone. So it's just a very small time loss to get those encounters, more annoying than anything. Tyranthraxis is quite a mouthful to be typing out. So Tyranthraxis is an evil spirit, and a lot of the quests as you're going around, you find out about him. Flan is a city that was taken over by monsters, and we're part of a group of adventurers who are taking it back. That's what this whole thing is about. But the boss who currently rules the city and all the monsters is this evil spirit Tyranthraxis, who works for the evil god Bane, well known to aficionados of the Forgotten Realms lore. With that, we've taken the gate. Now we have to transition to the next area to cancel the alarm so we can get rid of all that. All we have to do is transition, and all of a sudden the alarm's off. It's kind of weird. I used to be able to sleep it off, but it doesn't do that anymore. But that's okay. Now we enter, once again, the final area. We still have our disguises from before for some reason. We come in here. I need to save the game because I've been messing up the maze recently. So now we go through the maze. And once we finish this final maze,
We will be fighting the soldiers and then Tyranthraxis himself.
Yep. So let's see. When we go up these stairs, we go over here. This is the room with the final battle in it. So we're going to use another dust. We are going to cast a haste spell. So Derek, with Derrek, has my other haste spell. All right. So now we go down the stairs and we fight Tyranthraxis. He sends his guards after us. These guards are 12 level 8 fighters with 87 hit points, as well as very powerful magic items that we're going to liberate from them when we're done with them, because they're that good. So this is a very unfair battle. In some ways, it can be harder than the final battle, depending. But luckily, these guys are vulnerable to Stinking Cloud, and so it is even if they make their saving throw, they're debuffed. If they don't make their saving throw, they're paralyzed. And we are able to insta-kill them. Let's see. You are helpless. So we want to kill the helpless ones first, because they are one-shots. And then hopefully we'll kill enough of them that pretty soon the rest will surrender. This fight is pretty random, depending just on how many fail their saving throw, and we get to insta-kill. All right, so now and then the last three are not choking and gagging, so we have to finish them off normally. Okay, and they surrender. Oh, darn, I forgot to do that. Oh, well. I could start the battle with that. Okay, now we're going to take these. Now we're taking their very powerful gear. And you actually don't matter that much. I'll take the... I guess the Zem will do. Zemidlu. Okay, final battle here. Now we're given the chance to join him with each of our 4 characters, which is interesting. Only one character is frightened by Tyranthraxis. That's actually pretty lucky. You don't have... It was him who had the face spell. I needed to use that. Oh, well. So now it's just, hopefully we beat him down before he gets us. Because we have Dust of Disappearance, he isn't going to be able to breathe on us, but he has very powerful melee attacks, so he can bring us down, and he's hard to hit. So, and he's killed 3 of us. Yep, that's unfortunate. That's why we save. Sometimes that happens.
I've never seen that one before, so.
It's happened a couple of times. Of course, it has to happen today as well.
Of course.
All right. I already cast all my things, though, so we just go and do it again and hope that this battle goes better first. All right. Stinking Cloud. Okay,
Got
got
time for a
several
few
chokes from
donations while I take
nausea.
this?
Are you? Yes, you are the bowman. Okay, both of those two. Him now. Both of those two back there. So once again, only 3 will be left so far. There's some more. All right, just 2 now. Luckily, the AI is too stupid to get out of the cloud. All right, now I forgot again. Well, I'll need to remember to do that this time. Okay, let's see. That's yeah, they took some damage. It's unfortunate. Okay. Oh, God, now 3 of us are weakened by fear. Wonderful. Okay, but we can rehaste, which will help out a lot, which I forgot to do last time. He's trying to breathe on us, but can't see us because of the dust, which is helpful. He has 9 hit points left. Come on. Okay, there we go. Whew, 2 characters survived. Mortally wounded, the dragon roars. The spirit of Tyranthraxis flares up from the dragon's body. Time is not yet. Time is when I get the reward for turning in the final quest. So it's still going to be about a minute away. Fools, you have but slain the body I possessed. I cannot be defeated. With the power of the pool of radiance, which I moved here to my lair, I will still rule by possessing one of you. And then the next test goes by too quickly, but suddenly he's called by Bane through the pool, and he complains, Lord Bane, don't call me through the pool, no. And then, luckily, we get warped back to town, so we can go turn in immediately. And then our 2 living characters will get massive rewards. And there it is, time. We've saved the city, and we did all the quests for it, and only 14 minutes over estimate. That was a rough, rough game. I've never seen RNG that bad, but time to quit so we can do our New Game Plus incentive. Has the Broken City Glitch incentive been met also?
I'm checking in on that one right now. Looks like we still have about $95 to go on that Small Broken City Glitch incentive.
Okay, you've got less than 5 minutes to get that in if you want to see a very small glitch in the game. Okay, so this is our New Game Plus party. So the SSI games allow you to remove characters from your party into the party pool, similar to how we used it to multiply our items. You can also use it to bring in characters who have already played the game before. In Pool of Radiance, not technically beaten the game. When they have, they get a flag, so they can't be added they disappear from the regular character pool, except for transferring to the next game. But other games would allow you to do it with characters who've beaten the game, but regardless, you get to keep all their stuff, all their levels. We are level 7 and 6. Very mighty people. You might recognize some of these names from RPG Limit Breaks past. We've got Football Dino from the most horrible game that shall not be named. We have Parabol. We have Arby's. We have go, 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 as far as I can go. Our beloved Demon Chocobo. And this guy from this game that was really big a few years ago, it seemed everybody was named Jeff or something. I don't know what that's about. So now if you want to have a timer for this, it will start in 3, 2, 1, go. So once again, we start the game. This is how you know it's a new game, because we have Rolf, who has to give us the stupid introduction. And we're going to be avoiding random encounters entirely this time and reloading for them if we can't get out of the fight by running away or abusing the enemies into leaving us alone. Because, again, that dynamic difficulty means that we are going to have lots of enemies in it. These are huge enemy groups that are going to be coming against us. And I forgot the most important thing, speed. Nope, angry orcs are going to attack us. That's actually a relatively small group because we were right next to there. Suppose we could have just auto-combated them down, but whatever. Interestingly, because the battle maps mimic the terrain, sometimes that will have an effect on what enemies can appear. We surprised a party of orcs, so we can flee. Again, we are surprised by a bugbear leading goblins. RNG is so bad. It's not getting any better. Final battle, by comparison, is going to be super easy. Surprised again. Surprise is based on a number of factors. It's mostly random chance, but your dexterity is supposed to affect it to a degree. Right now, it is having none of it. We are not surprising anyone, and we are being surprised constantly, which means the enemies will choose to attack us. Angry means that they are going to fight regardless of what we do. If we surprise the enemies, we can flee freely. If they're semi-neutral stance, we can usually convince them to leave us alone because of our enormous charisma scores, but all right, only one more area where we need to worry about random encounters here in the well, and then once we get through it, rest of this whole game is smooth sailing. That's it. Okay, now we're at easy. Kill the guy. We do have a small chance of being found out here. We didn't, so yep, we get through, and same stuff we did before. We can enter the endgame area. We talk to the washerwomen. We get our disguises, so now we won't get any random encounters. Come through here into the maze again. And see, so you don't need to really do anything to beat the game. It is so open-ended, you can go there immediately. We do it in the speedrun just to pick up some powerful items, but if you have a party already powerful enough to beat Tyranthraxis because you've given them stuff already, then you can run right to the end game and confront him. So this may all look very familiar because we just did it. Secret door is found to our left. We come up the secret door. We come here. We use a Dust of Disappearance, just make things a little safer, and then we cast a haste spell just for kicks. And now, let's just let our party wipe them out. 87 hit point, level 8 fighters. And this is what our fully equipped group is cleaving through them with. Game plays itself. Oh yeah, this will finish way under 5 minutes, even with the bad encounter luck. Okay, we all want to attack Tyranthraxis, of course. You can actually end the game by having people join Tyranthraxis. If anyone chooses, there, he's dead. Final boss, anticlimactic. So if you're given the option for each character to join Tyranthraxis, and anyone who does will actually be removed from the party and be created as an enemy on Tyranthraxis' side when the battle starts. If you choose to join with everyone, it treats it as if you had a party wipe and says the same thing we got before from the rocks fall, everyone dies, the super lizard man, the monsters rejoice, for the party has been destroyed. Go through this again. And voila, now we go to turn in the one quest we did, and that should be time. One of the fastest glitchless speedruns of an RPG you'll ever see. So was the Broken City glitch met?
Unfortunately, it seems a pile of rocks has fallen on our small broken city glitch incentive.
That's fine. I've used up too much of your time already with that overestimate run, but I had a lot of fun here. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to show off these gold box games. Keep watching the rest of the marathon. Up next is David TKI and his buddies from Questing for Glory with a very old school game of their own, MMORPG. So stick around for that. Thank you all, and I will see you later.
Well, GG on completing those 2 runs. Bad RNG always has a way of working its way into marathon runs, so you did the best you could with the situation you got. Just going to read off a few donations here. We had a $5 donation from Jason LaRose, which says, choo choo, for the $5 donation train that got us that New Game Plus run. We have $100 from BD Jeffy P, who says, let's see that New Game Plus. And we have $20 from Kelladorn, who says, choo choo times 4. I forgot to donate enough to get prizes. Prizes are cool. I agree, prizes are very cool. We actually have several prizes available right now. We have the Chrono Trigger original soundtrack. We have the Earthbound acrylic painting, as well as the Super NES Classic Edition. Those are available for a $10, a $15, and a $20 minimum donation, respectively, and they are available until Fable The Lost Chapter's any percent. And that's going to do it here for me at the host desk. I would like to give a huge thank you to RPG Limit Break for allowing people like me to volunteer and host remotely. And with that, I'm going to hand you over to both our next host, as well as a quick word from our sponsors.
Hello, RPG Limit Break. My name is Haldo, and I'll be your host for the next little bit. We have a bit more of setup to do before the next run, so in the meantime, I've got a few donations to read. Synthpop is back, number 1033, donates $10 with no comment. Super Blood Wolf Moon donates $100 with no comment. Lord Azuel dotes $50 and says, "Hello. Hello to you too, Lord Azuel." Drake Lake donates $12.34 and says, "Good luck, y'all. Wanted to stay up for this run, shout of Eusebius, and wish you folks nothing but the best." Reynault donates $25 with no comment. And Sphintus donates $2 with no comment. Some upcoming prizes we have. There is a Chrono Trigger original soundtrack for a $10 minimum donation, and an Earthbound acrylic painting for a $15 minimum donation. You can also enter to win a Super NES Classic Edition for $20 minimum donation. I'd like to take a minute to shout out NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. 1 in 5 Americans live with a mental health condition. We here at RPG Limit Break are proud to be raising money for NAMI. It's a charity that works tirelessly towards cracking the code of mental illness through various means such as education, leadership, and increasing the availability of care. Please join RPG Limit Break in supporting such a worthy cause. We still have a few minutes to go before the next run, which gives you time to vote for your favorite names for the Shadow of Eusebius, of what the players will name their characters. Shoutouts and thanks to the people involved in our foreign language restreams. Our French restream can be found at twitch.tv/lefrenchrestream, and our Japanese stream at twitch.tv/Japanese_restream. If they can help you enjoy the marathon in a language that you prefer, go check them out and send them some love. We here at RPG Limit Break are grateful to LLK, our longtime contributor to GDQ Marathons, and the designer of our promotional banners, attendee badges, and emotes. Check out her work at jazzaboo.com. That's JAZAABOO.com. A few more upcoming donation incentives beyond the next run. For Fable the Lost Chapters, we have a donation incentive to spare and kill Whisper in the arena, and to wear or destroy Jack's mask. Later on, for Final Fantasy XII, we have the incentive to show off the dead character glitch after the run, and also to fight Gilgamesh twice from the Order of Ambrosia's 100% speedrun route. Sphintus donates $3 with no comment.